Don't know why you'd be in the forest in the dead of winter, but apparently this thing can still be out there, so don't think you're safe. What's up, Rad Fam? We are doing another paranormal investigation deep dive into an urban legend creature, and today we are going to look into and try to uncover the truth of the Wendigo. Now, this is a Native American urban legend that some of you suggested in the comments of our Skinwalker deep dive. It's very creepy, so let's get to it. As per usual with these deep dives, we are heading over to Wikipedia to get a base of what this urban legend creature is. The Wendigo, or Wendigo, I've heard them pronounced both ways, is a mythical man-eating creature or evil spirit native to the northern forests of the Atlantic coast in Great Lakes region of the United States and Canada. From my research, it seems like a lot of the stories, though, do originate in Canada. So I guess if you live near there, I'm not ever saying you should go investigate the paranormal on your own. Be safe. I don't want that on my conscience. But, if you happen to live in this region of the world and are out hiking with a camera, just saying. The Wendigo may appear as a monster with some characteristics of human, or as a spirit who has possessed a human being and made them become monstrous. I have seen in a lot of these personal account stories where people share that the Wendigo, at least from a distance, looks like somebody they know, but the person is not acting like the person. They're acting evil. They're acting like a monster. They're trying to harm the person. So, either they be a hideous monster or looking like your friend Jim. I don't know which one's scarier, to be honest. Probably the one that can look like someone you know. I feel like that's a little scarier. This urban legend is historically associated with insatiable greed and other cultural taboos against such behavior. Back in the day, and even still till this day, urban legends were a lot of times used to teach people lessons or talk about what is culturally acceptable or taboo. So if an urban legend talked about how this monster did something that the culture thought was bad, that's then to teach typically children that this thing is bad, you'll be seen as a monster if you do it. And that also applies to the Wendigo. A lot of the urban legends that you will hear regarding this creature will have common themes that deal with cultural taboos, making the creature out to be incredibly greedy and evil and harmful and dangerous to people. And this is a very fascinating tidbit. The legend lends its name to the controversial modern medical term Wendigo psychosis, described by psychiatrists as a cultural bound syndrome with symptoms such as an intense craving for human flesh and fear of becoming a cannibal? What? That is terrifying. I have never heard of this. Okay, this urban legend just got a little more creepy. So many urban legends tend to be passed down through word of mouth, so little details here and there gets changed. People add things, they take away from things. It changes based off of location. So usually, whenever we talk about an urban legend, there are going to be a plethora of different versions, especially when we're talking about an urban legend that's based around a creature, because people will take that creature and apply it to different scenarios and scary stories. And that also is applied to the Wendigo. But there does seem to be some similarities in the description of a Wendigo. For the version that says they look like monsters, they're typically incredibly big, tall creatures that don't resemble anything else, but do look like a hodgepodge of different characteristics of different animals. This site does include a summary of the urban legend for a Wendigo. So as the tale goes, he was once a lost hunter. During a brutally cold winter, his intense hunger drove him to cannibalism. Oh wow, that's starting off real dark and depressing, isn't it? Probably because of the region that this creature is said to inhabit. Most of the stories will take place in winter or in the colder months, and that has even led some people to make it synonymous with starvation and famine and just lack of food, probably because in the winter months people tend to face those conditions back in the day. After feasting on human flesh, he became a crazed monster, roaming the forest in search of more people to eat. So he shed his humanity and had an insatiable greed for humans. Oh, wow. Okay. So like I said earlier, this creature is said to roam Canada and have been spotted in northern states like Minnesota and Michigan and Wisconsin. And even, if you think a snowstorm will stop this creature, apparently not. It is immune to the harshest of conditions. So Don't know why you'd be in the forest in the dead of winter, but apparently this thing can still be out there, so don't think you're safe. So after this hunter consumed humans, he not only shed his humanity, like internally, he apparently also did physically. He morphed into this unspeakably disgusting looking thing. His skin was stretched tight across his bones, making them visible. So, oh wow, yeah. Though he is said to be very large in stature at almost 15 feet tall, that thing running towards you, oh my goodness. His body is described as skeletal and emaciated, kind of going with that whole, he has an insatiable hunger. So that is his driving force to continue hunting people. So on this website, they describe the Wendigo as having massive eyes like an owl, razor sharp, large claws to rip you to shreds. That's incredibly terrifying. Some say that it looks similar to Bigfoot in terms of its height and size, and it can be covered in fur, though some also say it's like patchy fur where some exposed human-like skin can be shown through, and maybe even possible like a bony spine protruding from the back. It's just a creature that is the definition of nightmare fuel, basically. It's this weird moose, owl, deer, Bigfoot, bear-looking creature. Oh my goodness, running into this thing in the middle of the forest at night, GG's, I'm done. I don't even know if I would run. I feel like I'd just be like, oh, yep, okay, this is my end. It just gets more and more terrifying. Throughout centuries, the Wendigo has been blamed for mysterious disappearances of people, especially in Native American tribes. Another version of the Wendigo, which this website says is roughly translated to the evil spirit that devours mankind. Oh, that is the most evil, threatening name I think I've ever heard for a creature. And that translation is related to the version of Wendigo that claims he has the power to curse humans by possessing them. Once he has infiltrated their minds, he can turn them into Wendigos at will, instilling upon them the same lust for human flesh that he himself has. So this is something that, like, even if it doesn't physically eat you, just by infiltrating its way into your life, maybe by if you see it, or if you are in a weakened state and it happens to be near you, this thing is said then to be able to control you. And then once he controls you, you have the curse now too. So there's no escaping this thing. Again, I don't know which version is scarier. Oh, but just when you thought this can't possibly get any more terrifying, you would be wrong. Are you new here? If you are, hi, hello, my name is Kaylena. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you hit the subscribe button and join the Rat Fam today. Oh, but no, these always get worse before the video ends. There are some discrepancies between the stories on how this creature actually gets people. Like, some say that the creature's incredibly fast, like you do not withstand a chance of escaping it on foot. They will hunt you down like a wolf or a bear, and then proceed to do what those creatures would do to you, but in a very more violent manner. Oh god, this is like literally giving me goosebumps. Other variations though say that it's just a really skilled hunter, and it uses its paranormal abilities to lure people into traps. So going with the whole, it's like a bony mess of a being, it's not said to be particularly strong, even though it is incredibly menacing. Oh, this is where it truly gets more terrifying. It is said to be able to mimic the sound of a human voice, and it can mimic the sound of a human voice that you would know. So I guess some say that if they hear the voice, they're able to mimic it. Others say it can actually read your mind and mimic a voice that they know you would know. And it will use that voice to lure you into a secluded, dark area in the woods and proceed to attack you. This might just be the most terrifying creature we have covered thus far. What do you guys think? Oh boy, this is straight up nightmare fuel. This is like combinations of different people's nightmare fuels. And this is a creature that has existed for centuries. This website goes on to say that there are still reported sightings. So people claiming they have actually seen these creatures to this day, full-heartedly believe in this creature, and that it still is roaming the woods in that region. Oh, and if you live in Ontario and you're watching this right now, I hate to do this to you, bud, but apparently those current sightings happen to be in northern Ontario the most, near the cave of the Wendigo. So very fitting that it would be said to be near there. Maybe it's subconsciously fueling people's ideas that the Wendigo exists and that they are seeing it. So maybe they're actually seeing a real creature or maybe a person at night, for some reason that's in the woods, near this area. But because they know of the urban legend and now they're specifically in this area where it's called the Cave of the Wendigo, it could just be like fueling people's imaginations, which, hey, you know, you can take that as a sign of comfort, but you probably would never catch me near the Cave of the Wendigo, unless I'm doing a video for you guys. So we covered a basis of where the Wendigo originated from and what the creature is and the many variations out there of it and why you should be terrified of it. You know, especially that last part. I feel like we really drove that part home. But that does it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, please give this video a big thumbs up so that you enjoyed it and want to see more paranormal deep dives into creatures. And if you do, please leave your suggestions down below of which creature we should cover next. And until next time, keep with the radness, and I'll see you real soon. Bye! And today's special guest is Charlie, sleeping away while we're talking about nightmares. Right next to the very creepy doll that I have not gotten rid of. I don't know what's wrong with me.